Jungkook, tell me his name and it will be over for him. As Vine broke the hug, he came into his senses and questioned himself for what he was even doing. He couldn't look at her after what he has done, as he was really embarrassed. Vine looked at him with her crying face, which wasn't giving Jungkook much satisfaction. He behaved like that to her because he already couldn't save his mother from killing herself. And now that she was suffering from the same fate, he wanted to do everything he can to save her. Jungkook, I I meant you could tell me his name. I might be able to help you somehow. Vine, please don't. If he gets to know that I am seeking help from anyone, he will kill that person. I can't do this to you. He will kill me. Jungkook smirked as he said, you don't have to worry about that. Just tell me about him. Vine, no, it's fine. We just met and I can't. It's just not fair. Jungkook, at least. Vine, don't ask me anymore. I'm sorry, I can't tell you anything. I'll go first. Jungkook sighed and thought he too should give it up now. He came in front of her and said, it's okay if you don't want to tell me. I'm sorry I hugged you by mistake. Have a safe ride home. She didn't say anything, smiled, and started walking her way. She didn't tell him as she was worried for him, but at the same time, she was worried about herself too. As her boyfriend said, he won't only kill the person she is seeking help from, but he'll kill Vine too. So she couldn't bring herself to tell the truth. As she was walking down, Jungkook kept watching her until she left completely out of his sight. He didn't know what to do now. He just sighed and went downstairs, having the coat in his hand. As he got out of the building to sit in his car, he heard something from his left side. He looked at it and saw Vine getting dragged by some man. Saya, you were talking to somebody, right? Do you think you can fool me? You're so wrong, my love. I've always been so good to you. But that's what I get in return. I'm not going easy on you from now on. Saya said to Vine and grabbed her wrist to take her with him. Vine was about to scream, for Saya said, try to scream and you know what I'll do. Vine had tears in her eyes as she felt hopeless, tired, and thinking why she didn't take her life earlier, why she still wanted to live. She kept quiet and walked with him until someone came from behind and held Saya's wrist so tightly that he thought his bones got broken. He groaned highly in pain as his grip went loose on Vine's hand, and she was free. Vine, you? What the hell are you doing here? Saya, leave my hand. God, who in the world are you? Jungkook twisted his hand as far as he could while saying, don't do this to her from now on. Saya, okay, leave my hand first. We'll talk. Or do you want me to scream in here? Jungkook threw his hand away, for he said, I don't think your scream will be of any benefit for you. Saya, who are you, huh? Who are you to tell me what to do? She is my girlfriend, from her own will. We're having a conversation. Is that so wrong? Yes, it is wrong, Jungkook said and held Vine's hand. For he said, because she is my girlfriend, and you simply cannot talk to her like that. What? Saya scoffed. She is yours now? Let's ask her. Who is your boyfriend, Vine? Tell the truth. Vine looked at both of them, at Saya with regret and at Jungkook with pity. She left Jungkook's hand and held Saya's hand, for she said, you're my only boyfriend. She looked at Jungkook and said, I can't dare to make another one. Saya looked at Jungkook and laughed at him. Then they started walking their way, while Jungkook scoffed, with his anger on peak. He ran to them and after coming in the front, he punched Saya hard on the face. Why? Why are you making things difficult? Just go away, please. I already am tolerating a lot. Jungkook. Well, not anymore. Just trust me, Jungkook said while looking in her eyes. As they were sharing an eye contact filled with emotions, and Vine almost fell in love with him. But Saya came in between them. Saya, what is your problem? Go away from here or I'm calling the police. Jungkook, why do you keep asking me to run away? Can't you fight? Jungkook started coming towards him with his haunted eyes. For Saya took steps back while staggering, for he fell down on his back. You can't fight? Jungkook scoffed and squatted down to say, you can't fight, so you use these useless things as your shield to protect you. While in the reality, you're just a loser who can't protect himself, so you have to rely on these stupid things. Saya, I'm I'm not a I'm not here to lecture you. Jungkook took out the phone forcefully from Saya's pocket and said, I'm just here for this. Saya, what are you doing? He got up and tried to take his phone back as he said in the loud voice, give it back or I'm not staying quiet. Jungkook took out half of the gun from his waist belt and showed it to Saya, for he quietened down. Jungkook's back was facing Vine, so she couldn't see it, nor did he want her to be scared. Jungkook, say another word and you won't have the time to even regret. Jungkook threw Saya's phone on the floor and kicked on it several times until it was broken into a lot of pieces. Jungkook faced back at her and saw her crying. He quickly went to her and held her shoulders to ask, What's wrong? Everything is fine now. Let's go together. Jungkook offered her his hand, knowing she won't accept it. But she didn't take a second before holding his hand and walking with him. He was surprised a little, developing more feelings for her. While she did it because she wanted to get away from Saya as soon as possible and as far away as possible. And she didn't take a second because it was Jungkook. Something about him always makes her feel strange, and something she never felt before. Saya wanted to scream, curse, or anything he possibly can because he was raged. But that too isn't going to last long, as Jungkook will kill him anyway when he's in a quiet or desert place. They sat in Jungkook's car and started driving. When they both lost the sight of Saya, Jungkook looked at Vine and said, We are far away from him. You can calm down now. Wine. I I don't know what to say to you. I'm just so thankful. I owe you one. You can ask me anything. She said while she was still crying that how everything is sorted out so easily, and she wanted to take her life without thinking or fighting with it on her own. Jungkook, it's really okay. You weren't silly. You just didn't know, which is not your fault at all. He stopped the car and looked at her. Jungkook put his hand on hers and said, I'm so glad I could save you from doing this. I couldn't save my mom, so I always blamed myself. But now I think I'll be able to sleep peacefully. She looked in his eyes and knew he needed to be comforted more than her. She fell in love with those sparkling eyes, while she kept wanting to relieve the pain that he was suffering. But she was afraid that she might be mistaking a little help with something else. Jungkook, I know this is selfish. I helped you a little, but in return I'm saying such a big thing. Yet I don't want to regret it later. That's why I wanted to say I like you. Vine was amazed as she looked at him with widened eyes. Jungkook, you don't have to reply me, but I'm not sorry at all for feeling like this. You don't have to, Vine said. You never have to feel sorry about your feelings. It's just that I can't trust easily after all this. But something's just telling me to trust you. I don't know anymore. You want to trust me? As soon as Jungkook heard this, he was sure to go for it. For he said, just try to give me a chance. I won't ask you to do things or take off your clothes unless I actually make you believe in me. It will be worth a chance. She quieted down for a second, as she thought she won't do anything until she fully believes in him. She has learned her lesson to be more careful from now. As she looked in his eyes, the corner of her lips moved a little, making her smile. He noticed it and immediately crashed his lips upon hers. He kissed her softly, but when she did it back, he was more confident. He went deeper, and soon their car was filled with hotness and emotions. Jungkook, after breaking the kiss, smiled while looking and held her hand, for he said, where should I drop you now? Wine. Let's go home. Together. He took a deep breath, looking straight ahead, and then pulled the gear after starting the car. Whereas the car took them to their destination, which you can call home.